Okay, let us start with the prayers. Om Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyaham Karishyami Siddhir me sada. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnanapradam Gurum Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tattva Bodho Vidhiyate. Om Namah Shivaya. Okay.
Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya.
Okay, let us start now. So I hope you remember the last class we were talking about the different types of karma. We had three types: Sanchita karma, the Agami karma, and the Prarabdha karma. Sanchita is the total stock of karma accumulated from all the lives. Prarabdha is a small portion of that which is allocated for this life. And Agami karma is what is freshly generated with every new action. And then we were looking at the law of karma, some of the corollaries which we can understand and take away. So the first one was karta eva bhokta. Nobody else is to blame for my experiences. Meaning whatever I am experiencing now is a result of my past actions. And which past? Not just of this life, but of all the lives before this. So all of those actions, they have resulted in this situation that I am currently experiencing. It might be positive, it might be negative, but whatever it is, the experience is because of my own previous actions. So karta eva bhokta. He who does the action, he alone enjoys the consequence or suffers the consequence of that action. Then what can we take away from that? That if all my past actions are responsible for what I experience now, it means whatever I do now, whatever action I take now, that is responsible for my future experience. Okay, so whatever actions I'm doing now, that sets up how my future experiences will be. So I have to take responsibility and I have to act wisely now. If I don't act properly now, then my future will suffer. And that is that, then there's nobody else to blame. I cannot say, oh, somebody else made me do this. I cannot say God is, making my life miserable. Nobody else is to blame. I alone am responsible for my own present as well as my own future. Okay. And the problem is not with God or with the world, but with my incomplete, wrong equation. When we see the world around, we see a lot of unfair things, seemingly unfair things. We see a lot of people enjoying and a lot of people suffering. We see some people who were previously suffering, now they're enjoying. And some people who were enjoying and they've taken a fall and now they are suffering. So we see it is constantly changing and we cannot make sense of it, right? When you just see this much, it seems very confusing that, okay, why is the world like this? It seems very whimsy or without any rationality to it. And so we think that, okay, the world is just an unfair place. All this luck and fate, they're all unpredictable, uncontrollable things. And so we think that God is to blame or something else is to blame. But the problem is never with God, it is with my incomplete equation. I have to connect today's bhokta with a previous karta. I cannot connect today's karta with today's bhokta. It doesn't work. The equation will not always fit. So the present bhokta, I have to always connect with the past karta, a karta from a previous time, and a time maybe that I did not see. So then when you understand karma in this way, then it fits in perfectly. It makes a lot of sense. Okay, so till here we saw in the last class, and there were two more corollaries which we will see today and finish this corollary topic. So the fourth point is availability of prayashchitta karma. Now, the thing is, we cannot see prarabdha, right? We know how is agami based on whatever action I'm doing. I know how is my agami, but we don't know how the prarabdha is. We don't know what the future holds, right? And there are, it can be good or it can be bad. In fact, that is why prarabdha, one of the name is adrishta, right? Adrishta means invisible, which cannot be seen. And in English, we call these by different words. We call it luck. We don't know what luck is there. We don't know what fortune is waiting for me in future or what misfortune is waiting. So we say these things, right? Because we don't know. Now, Shastra tells us that there are some ways to know what is in store or what is the prarabdha. And one of the ways is Jyotishya, the astrology. So using the technique of astrology, it is possible to understand what is prarabdha or what is there waiting for me. Shastra also warns that don't go searching for it. Don't go actively all the time looking at Jyotishya, looking at horoscope, because what we know itself, we can't handle most of the time, you know. So why go searching also into the unknown things? So there is a warning that don't poke your head too much also in it. But Shastra also says that one of the methods of discerning this is Jyotishya, the horoscope, the astrology. Now, people unfortunately blame the planets for their bad luck, misfortune. They say, oh, the planets are causing this. But we have to understand that these planetary positions are not the cause of my negative prarabdha. The planetary positions are only an indication of the prarabdha. So a good example for this is the sun and the clock. The sun keeps moving, right? The sun is independently moving and the clock shows the time. So if the clock says around 12 o'clock in the afternoon, then if you look up, you expect that the sun will be somewhere straight up. And suppose it is 6 o'clock in the evening, then you look to the west and the sun will be about to set in the western direction. Does this mean that the clock controls the sun? No, the clock does not control the sun. The clock only indicates the sun's movement. In the same way, the planets don't control prarabdha, they only indicate what the prarabdha may have. Okay, so we cannot blame the planets for whatever is in store. We only use the planets as an indicator for what may be there. And even then, it comes with a statutory warning that don't go looking for it. It is actually not really worth it. Okay, so now, but suppose using Prarabdha, you have found out some, using Jyotishya, you have found out some information about your Prarabdha. There are certain remedial measures that you can take to counter or to neutralize this Prarabdha. Okay, so these are called Prayashchitta Karma or Parihara Karma. Prayashchitta or Parihara means a remedy, a solution. So for example, if the weather forecast comes that it is going to rain outside, what will you do? Do you stop going out just because it is going to rain? Will you cancel the plan? Or you will take an umbrella and you will take a raincoat and you will make sure that you're traveling safely and you will still continue, right? So in the same way, the way the umbrella neutralizes some of the effect of the rain, in the same way, some of this prayashchitta karma can neutralize the effects of the prarabdha karma. And now, can we say that it will neutralize completely? Can we say that the prayashchitta karma will completely take care of prarabdha, or all types, anything is there, it will take care? This is like saying the medicine will take care of all the diseases. So if you ask the question, does science have medicine for all the diseases? What is the answer?
No.
No. But does it mean that science has no medicine at all?
It's not true also.
No. What it means is that for some diseases, some problems, we have very good medicines, right? Science can give us very excellent medicines for certain problems. For some other problems, they just give some management. They can't remove the disease, but they will help you manage. And some other diseases, there is no cure at all, right? We don't have the answer. We don't have the cure at all. So the doctor says this is a terminal case. And at best, what can we do? We can give you some pain management till the last few days. We can just help to alleviate the pain, right? In the same way, prayashchitta karma also, there are some that can overcome the prarabdha, and there are some that may just help in alleviating a little suffering, but will not be able to, neutralize the prarabdha karma. Okay. So this is about prayashchitta karma, that despite whatever prarabdha may be there, we also have a very strong weapon with us that is called agami karma. And we have to always remember this. Remember agami karma. There are two kinds of people in the world. One type who believe only in agami and they say, I will work, 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 and I will succeed, succeed, succeed. It doesn't happen that way, right? They have not taken prarabdha into account. And there is another group of people who only look at prarabdha. Oh, this is my fate. Oh, this is God's will. And they are a very pessimistic lot. They have forgotten that they have agami karma. They have forgotten that they have the power to handle whatever prarabdha comes. So this should be the understanding that whatever happens in life is always an interplay between agami and prarabdha. And I have to always work at my best level to handle whatever comes. Okay, so this is point number 4, the availability of prayashchitta karma. We can reword it and say, remembering that agami karma is also available to handle prarabdha. Agami is the best weapon that we have as human beings. Then we will see the 5th point, the 5th and final point. All karma cannot be exhausted in one lifetime. So people get this question that how can I just do something and erase the karmas? Just in this life itself, let me take an eraser and erase some of it. But it does not work that way. It cannot be exhausted or removed or eliminated in any way in one lifetime. So it keeps happening. It's a cyclical thing. So every human life, we generate fresh agami. What about animal life? During animal life, there is no generation of agami karma. There is only exhaustion of prarabdha karma. Now, just because prarabdha is over, what happens to Sanchita?
Still remains.
Still it is there, right? How do you remove Sanchita now?
By human birth.
Whether you don't remove Sanchita, but in your next birth, you will carry with you part of that as a prarabdha.
Yes. And how long will you keep doing? When does Sanchita get over? If you keep taking little by little of
it
prarabdha.
Never gets over because we keep on adding. In our human life, we will keep on adding to that Sanchita. Unless we are not born as humans, we don't consume Sanchita.
Correct. So it is not possible to exhaust Sanchita that way. Prarabdha will be exhausted in this life. In fact, what we call death is the exhaustion of Prarabdha. When Prarabdha is over, the body will drop, and that we call as death. So what we call this death is just Prarabdha getting over. And if Prarabdha is over, does it mean Sanchita is over? No, Sanchita is still very much there, right? And what about Agami? Agami will be produced in a human life when action is then done with deliberate intent. Okay, so whenever you do something with particular intention, it generates Agami karma. So tell me, do animals produce Agami?
No.
Why?
The program
They
to
work on instinct. They don't
They
work
have
on
free will. Yes, they only work on instinct. They don't work with any kind of intention. And what about small babies, human babies?
no.
They also don't produce.
Yeah, they also don't produce because they also don't work with intent. So as the child grows and this free will develops, and with free will, the intent behind action develops, then Agami karma is also started. Okay, and what happens to Agami by the end of life? What happens to all this Agami?
Becomes
Well, part of it is consumed and other part goes back to
some
Sanchita.
of
Yes, a part of it is exhausted in this life itself, because we see, right? Sometimes you work for something and you get that thing, right? So that is you get achievement. Some portion of the Agami will be exhausted in this life, and the remaining portion will be carried over into Sanchita. Okay. Yes, Anjali.
Meeraji, I was,
Yes, Anjali.
yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I was wondering that when we do Agami karma, can we look at it in a manner that yes, I'm not looking at it from a fatalistic perspective that everything is prarabdha, but I cannot do Agami karma even without the grace of the Lord, that even that is supported by the Lord. So even though I am objectively aware of the things that I'm doing, that if I'm studying, I would get knowledge, or if I'm eating, I would feel full, but that even cannot happen without the grace of the Lord. So like this has,
Everything is supported by the grace of the Lord. Existence itself
yeah,
is
exactly.
prasad from the Lord,
Yes,
So,
yes.
yes, it is okay to keep that in the background of your mind. But right now, we are just trying to understand the law of karma, how it plays out. So, from that point of view, we just understand that there is Agami and Prarabdha. But of course, both are finally the grace of Lord itself.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Yes, Ashok ji.
So all I can say, what I understand now, is that this equation was not known to me earlier. I did not know all these years how my prarabdha was included in the results which I generate now. I only thought about Agami. But having understood this today, I can appreciate and I can have my future Agami karmas of an order which will help me generate better results out of that. And I will be not upset if the results now did not come up to my expectations. Because I'll understand that there is something else, another factor involved, which is the prarabdha, and that is also responsible for my present experiences. So
Yes.
now I'm in better placed to do better karmas, or those karmas which are more fruitful to the way I like. So now I will say that I can make better choice.
Yes. So this is one of the advantages of understanding the law of karma, that it will help you take both success and failure in stride. We don't
And I
get
want to add here,
crippled by failure.
I want to add here that I am getting to know this at age 70, And I'm very happy for you that you got to learn much earlier. So wishing you all the best.
You know, it doesn't matter. In the second chapter, last verse of Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the age does not matter. What age this knowledge comes, it doesn't, it is not at all a relevant thing. So they say that even antakalepi, even at the time, the last moment also, if it comes, it is still okay. It is still a very good thing. So don't worry about that.
Makes me feel good.
But
Okay.
can I ask a question, Medhaji?
I think Amit ji has raised his hand first.
Not a problem.
Om Medaji.
Yeah.
Medaji, just wanted to understand one thing, like we were just discussing that death is just the end of Prarabdha. But there are few people who face untimely death, like accidents and all. So they also end up there with Prarabdha, or is it like something
To you, it is untimely. According to their prarabdha, it is not untimely, no? The end of their life, the end of their life is the end of their prarabdha. To you, it just seems very sudden because they were young or because they had so much potential. We say these things, right? This person was so young, he died so suddenly, so unexpectedly. And so to us, it seems, that, okay, maybe it was an untimely death. We call it like that. But actually, it is never like that. Except in the case of suicide, all other deaths are timely deaths. They all work in the accordance of law of karma. Only
Even
suicide
Meghaji,
is a result of free will. Suicide, where one person takes his own life, ends his own life by free will. It is an abuse of free will. And that is why it is considered as a mahapapam, one of the, it leads to great suffering later on. The person thinks I have escaped from suffering now, but actually what they have done is just multiplied their suffering for future lives. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Meghaji,
Can I ask?
If you raise the hand, then we can see who is first, and then we can. Yes, Deepaji.
yeah, but when you said committing suicide, but generally sometimes it happens like you try to commit suicide. Like I've seen so many people, they don't die, and either they become bedridden or they become paralytic attack or something will happen to them. So again, then like, okay, he has done the this crime after free will, but death is again in the hand of Almighty.
Sometimes by free will, suicide is a success also, right? Sometimes it is not. Something else may happen. It all depends on the agami versus prarabdha. How strong the prarabdha is and how strong the agami is.
Okay, thank you.
Whether the death is a success. See, finally, if you just take the action of suicide, what is the result? They want death. Any action you take, even just crossing the road, simple thing, no? Crossing the road. What is success? Reaching safely on the other side. What is failure of crossing the road? Something happens, some accident, something happens, or you just don't reach the other side, or you don't reach safely. That is failure. So every action, there is something we want, which is success, something we don't want, which is failure. In the case of suicide, what is the thing they want? Death. What is the thing they don't want? They don't want to live. So it can be success also, in which case death. It can be failure also, in which case life for them. But the point is, any success or failure is always a resultant of agami and prarabdha. How they work for it in any action, anything, even to get a promotion, it is always a play of agami and prarabdha. How hard you work and what does prarabdha say? Sometimes prarabdha supports, so you get the promotion very easily. Sometimes prarabdha doesn't support and you have to struggle to get that promotion, like that. Yes, Dr. Rajika ji.
Yeah, Bhajgovindam says that the first stanza says that, at your old age, why are you going through grammar rules? So
Yeah.
similarly, then if as one ages and becomes very old and tries to study and learn, then is that the same thing that we have to follow, that this is not the time for us to learn?
Why is Bhaja Govindam criticizing grammar rules? That you tell me.
Because that person has become already very old and it is time for him to go, and he should concentrate on his path to the end life rather than, thinking about grammar rules and how to study this particular subject.
So is Bhaja Govindam criticizing all knowledge or particular knowledge, some particular knowledge?
Okay, it's just criticizing a technical thing that he wanted to do at that time. No, he's not.
Anybody
They're
else?
not. I'm not clear.
Anybody else?
I think when you are young, your brain cells are far more receptive to the rules of Sanskrit grammar or any grammar of any
It has
language.
nothing to do with age. Okay, I'll give you a hint. Nothing to do with age. It doesn't matter what age the person is.
Of course, of course. There is no age for
It is
learning.
life skill against the grammar rules.
Why does Bhaja Govindam seem against grammar rules?
Actually, in the class, Raviji mentioned that it means karma. Like the metaphorical meaning is the karma, not like we should not get lost in the grammar aspect. No amount of karma, we should not get lost in the karma to look
Yes.
to get moksha.
Grammar rules there represents all anatma. Okay. So when you say the knowledge of grammar rules, knowledge of physics, knowledge of, the knowledge of making chapatis, all of this is anatma. And what is the problem with anatma? It is temporary, it is transient, it is changing, it is going to come, it is going to go. And in that process, you're going to get attached and you're going to suffer when it goes, all these things, right? So what is Bhaja Govindam actually trying to say? It is trying to say that don't get lost in anatma things. Come to atma jnanam. So it is not criticizing all knowledge. It is not even criticizing the age. It is criticizing our attachment to anatma and to karma. So what they're saying, come out of that and come to atma jnanam. Put your attention and your effort into atma jnanam, into self-knowledge.
Thank you so much. Okay.
That is what they are saying there. So it is not, Shastra will never criticize Atma Jnanam. Okay, Atma Jnanam is the very thing we are working towards. Okay, fine. So this topic is done, the law of karma. And now we have some Sanskrit lines left over from the text, which we will go through, and that will be, these are the last few concluding lines. So we can read these and then finish off the text today. Okay. So let us read this. Jnanotpatyanantaram. Jnani deha kritam. Punya papa rupam karma. Yadasti tadagamītyabhidīyate. Okay, so now the author is giving the definition of agami, prarabdha and sanchita, and he is giving the definition for a jnani. Okay, so there are two definitions for all of these, for ajnani and for jnani. So this definition is for the jnani. Now we have already seen what it is for the non-jnani, right? For the samsari. So jnana utpatti anantaram. After knowledge has arisen in the mind. So anantaram means after, utpatti means generation, jnanam is knowledge. Which knowledge? Is it Sanskrit grammar knowledge? Which knowledge?
Self-knowledge.
Self-knowledge, atma jnanam. Okay, so this we have to remember always clearly. Okay, so jnanam, utpatti, anantaram. After knowledge has come, after self-knowledge has come. What is it? whatever actions done or appears to be done by the body of the Jnani. Jnani deha kritam. So note this word here, deha, not Jnani kritam. It is Jnani deha kritam, means done by the body of the Jnani. Why is this important? Why this distinction is important?
Because for a jnani, he no longer has a deha abhimana.
He doesn't have deha abhimana, so his body, what he looks at his body like any other external thing. Okay, so that is why when I do an action, I might say, I did this thing, I achieved, I won something, right? But the Jnani will never say that. He may say, this body has done something. Because for him, this body is as good as any other external objects. He doesn't see them very differently. And so that is why the word Jnani Deha Kritam. Jnani has no identification with the body, so he will never claim Kartrutvam. He will never say, I did this thing. Okay? Because the sense of I itself is not there for the Jnani. So Jnani Deha Kritam, whatever this Jnani does or appears to do, and what do we mean when I say Jnani appears to do? The Jnani's body continues to act, but the Jnani himself is de-identified from his body, so he doesn't claim ownership of that action. So Jnani Deha Kritam, the Jnani's body will continue to act. And what happens? There is karma that seems to be done. And karma is always Papa Punya Rupam. So whatever Jnani does, it's in the form of Papa Punya Rupam. It appears that it is, this karma is being done. And this is called as Agami Iti Abhidhiyate. It is called as Agami Karma. So we have to remember that for the Ajnani, when does Agami start for the Ajnani? Or when is Agami counted?
When he starts having free will.
When he starts taking deliberate actions?
When with a deliberate action, when the action is done. So if you're taking in this life, then say from childhood, from the age when free will starts, from the independent thoughts, from when they start, from that point on, Agami is collected. But is that the first starting point? No, you have to look at all the previous lives also. Previously also Agami has been accruing. And how long does this Agami go on for the Ajnani? Till the point of Jnanam, till Atma Jnanam. So Atma Jnanam, you can say, is the end point of Agami for the Ajnani. Then what happens to all that previous Agami collected? It goes and joins Sanchita. And from the point of Jnanam, he is now Jnani, right? So from the starting point of Jnani's Agami is Jnanam, right? Okay, if you take this life, for example, from young age till Jnanam, the Ajnani is Agami. From Jnanam till Videha Mukti, the Jnani is Agami. Is this clear? Two kinds of Agami, for the Ajnani and Jnani, right? And Jnani's starting point is whenever he has free will. For Ajnani's starting point, the moment of Jnanam. This is the idea. This is the understanding. For the Ajnani, suppose the Ajnani dies before Jnanam, then it is still counting. Next life, again, it will come, again, it will count, all these. When does the Jnani's Agami stop?
At the point of Jnanam.
At the point of Jnanam. Okay, so the Jnani appears to generate Agami karma, but actually is not generating Agami karma. It only appears that way, but really he is not. So two definitions. The Ajnani's Agami definition and Jnani's Agami definition. Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay, so really speaking, Jnani does not have Agami karma. but his body continues to work and act, and it looks like he's doing a lot of things. But we have to remember, it is appearance only. It is not actually generating any karma phalam for the jnani. Okay? Okay. Next. Sanchita karma kim.
Sanchita karma kim.
Karma kim.
Ananta koti janmanam.
Ananta koti janmanam.
Bija bhutam.
Bija bhutam.
Bhutam.
Satyat karma jatam.
Satyat karma jatam.
Purvarjitam tishtati.
Purvarjitam tishtati.
Tat sanchitam gneyam.
Tatsanchitam jneyam.
Okay. So what is Sanchita karma? We have already discussed this. All the previous accumulated karma is called Sanchita, and the author says the same thing. Ananta koti janmanam. Koti. How much is koti? What is koti?
Crores.
1 crore. Okay. How many zeros in 1 crore?
7.
7 zeros in 1 crore. Okay. And so that means you have had that many lives. One koti has 7 zeros. Okay. That many lives are already done. And further, what he says, Ananta koti. Ananta means countless. So countless kotis. We keep hearing about these scams, you know, the lakhs of crores were scammed, lakhs of crores of rupees. And it's such a big number, you can't even count the zeros. It'll become like 14, 15 zeros, right? So here, it is not even that much. It is countless, uncountable crore number of lives have already happened, past lives. So if you're wondering about your past life, Ananta Koti, that many number have happened. So there's a funny story about this. There's a young couple, long time back, there was a young couple, and they want a child. They don't have a child. They really want a child. So they do a lot of this yajna, puja, and many things. And then God blesses them and says that, okay, you will have a child. But remember, the child will have a short life. That is all I can, that's the best I can give you. They say, okay, no problem. And then they have a child, and at 7 or 8 years, the child dies because short life, right? They have told. So the child dies at 7 or 8 years, and now they are again very upset. They just got the child, they just lost the child, right? So upset. So again, they do this whole round of pujas and yajnas and everything, and God comes and says, I can't bring him back. We can't reverse death like that. So I'll do one thing. I can take you there and I can make you meet him. That's the best I can do. They say, okay, we'll take that. And so God takes them to whichever loka this boy is, and they see the boy, and they're so excited, they're so happy. They run to him and they hug him and they say, oh, my son, we missed you so much. And they're just, touching him and kissing him and hugging him, and they're so happy to see him. And the boy says, wait, who are you? And they say, we are your parents. And he says, from which life? So he doesn't remember which parents from which life, because every life you've had parents, right? So the point is that there are so many lives, so many, past lives, past actions, all these things that we have done. So Ananta Koti Janmanam, the thousands of or crores of previous lives. And from all those lives, what has happened? Bija Bhutam Karma Jatam. We have accumulated karma in seed form. Seed form means the adrishtam, which we spoke about, the punyam and papam. So that bija bhutam. Bija means seed of future experience, right? So we have discussed this when we talked about punyam and papam. So all of that, what has happened? Arjitam has been accumulated. So all these thousands of seeds, little seeds of karma, which will be fructified in the future, they have been accumulated from previous lives. How many previous lives? Countless previous lives. And that whole accumulated bunch is called as Sanchita karma. Okay. So the Jnani also has Sanchita, but for him it is as though destroyed. Yes, Samitji.
When we say Anant Koti, so is it inclusive of animal life, plant life, or is it only we are referring to human life?
No, all the lives.
Okay, but like in animal life, we don't create Sanchita. Sorry, Agami.
In any case, it doesn't matter because even the human lives are countless. If you try to divide countless by subtract countless from countless, you're still left with countless. So you can take all the lives, you can take only human lives. Only the human lives also will be countless koti only. So it's okay, however you take it. Yes, Preeti ji.
If one does karma with the attitude of a karma yogi, does that karma also add to the sanchita?
Yes. Jnanam is the only thing that will stop or destroy Agami and Sanchita. Karma yogi still generates karma, but he's also heading towards Jnanam. So it is acceptable. It is part of the journey. It's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Sujata ji. You're muted, Sujata ji.
Sorry. As you said that animals, they don't have agami karma. So they will be exhausting from the sanchita karma.
They will be exhausting prarabdha, which has come from Sanchita.
Yeah. And the humans will be adding more to the sanchita karma. So why is it that humans are better than animals? Because animals are exhausting their previous life's karma, whereas humans are adding to the sanchita, prarabdha, and agami will be added.
Because as we mentioned in the fifth point, exhausting karma is not the answer to eliminating karma. We cannot come out of the cycle of karma by doing more karma or by exhausting karma. Karma is not the answer to karma. Only jnanam is the answer to karma. Jnanam alone is the solution to karma.
So if animal in this birth, if an animal is that particular animal, in the next any birth, will that animal be a human or it will continue to be an animal or what?
It can change. It is possible it will come back as a different animal or as a different human or as something else entirely. It's possible to change.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so this is Sanchita. Next is Prarabdha. Prarabdha karma kimiti chet.
Prarabdha karma kimati chet.
Idam shariram utpadya.
Idam shariram utpadya.
Ihaloke eva sukha dukkhadi pradam.
Ihaloke eva sukha dukkadi pradam.
Yat karma.
Yat karma.
Tat prarabdham.
Tat prarabdham.
Bhogena nashtam bhavati.
Bhogena nashtam bhavati.
Prarabdha karmanam.
Prarabdha karmanam.
Bhogad eva kshaya iti.
Bhogadeva shaya iti.
Okay. The first sentence is still here and the second sentence is here. Okay. What is prarabdha? If it is asked, then the answer is idam shariram utpadya. Utpadya means giving rise to. So what has given rise to this body? So the body that I currently have, what has given rise to this current body, and iha loke, in this world, sukha dukkhadi pradam. Pradam means to give. So in this world, what is giving me sukha dukkha? So all the situations of my life that are unexplainable otherwise, right? If you ask the question, why these parents, why this house, why this country, why was I born in this particular way, with this particular health, some people have health conditions from birth itself. So why all this? If it is asked, it is because of prarabdha. So all these things that come in my life is all a result of prarabdha. Some people are born in very wealthy families, and some people are born in not so wealthy families. Some people are born in a country going through war, and some people are born in a very peaceful Himalaya-like place, right? So if you ask, what is the factor that decides where I am born, what kind of body I have, what kind of life I have? So it is prarabdha. Of course, as we age, agami comes into play, and you can start altering or start changing some of these factors of your life. Okay, so idam shariram utpadya. This body, what has given rise to this body, iha loke, in this world, sukha dukkhadi pradam, what has given pleasurable and painful experiences that have come without my working for it or asking for it, those things are all because of prarabdha. Tat karma, yat karma tat prarabdham. All these things are called prarabdha. And how is prarabdha going to be exhausted? Bhogena nashtam bhavati. It is destroyed by experience only. Okay, only once I experience it, this prarabdha will be destroyed. What about for the jnani? Can the jnani escape prarabdha? And so the author clarifies that prarabdha karmanam bhogat kshaya iti. Bhogat eva kshaya iti can only be destroyed by experiencing or exhausting that prarabdha. So for the jnani also, there is no escaping prarabdha. Jnani also will go through prarabdha. But what is the difference? The jnani doesn't look at these problems as my problems. Why? Because for the jnani, the body is also like any other external object, right? Suppose you see a stone rolling down a mountain. Do you say, oh, this hurts, this hurts? No. Suppose the body rolls down the mountain. Then you say, okay, this hurts. I rolled down the mountain and now I am hurt. I got injured, right? Because of the attachment with the body, the identification with the body. But the jnani doesn't have that. Another nice example is the cow and the garland. Have you seen a cow with a garland around its neck? Does the cow care about the garland at all?
No.
When they put the garland also, the cow has no reaction, right? It doesn't care about the garland. And as it walks, the garland is there, the cow doesn't bother. At one point, the garland will fall off on the road. Does the cow care that I lost the garland? No. When they put it, it is not proud that, oh, I have got a garland now. When the garland falls off, does the cow care that I have lost this thing? No. So just as the cow is indifferent to the garland, whether the garland is there or not there, in the same way, the jnani is very indifferent to the circumstances of the life. Whether things come or things go, the jnani is not bothered. Okay, so prarabdha will be there for a jnani, but the jnani is protected by jnanam. He is not affected. Okay. So let's move on and we'll see how the other two karmas are also destroyed. Sanchita karma,
Sanchita karma,
Karma.
brahmaivahamiti,
brahmaivamiti,
निश्चयात्मक ज्ञानेन नश्यति.
निश्चयात्मकज्ञानेन नश्यति.
So Sanchita karma is destroyed by Jnanam alone. So Jnanam is so powerful, it can destroy even the Sanchita karma. Okay, so we have to always remember that karma cannot destroy karma. It is like, the firefighters say, you can't fight fire with fire. You have to fight fire with water, right? So the way to overcome these karmas is only through jnanam. How do we know this? Because what is the root cause of all this karma and sanchita and all these things? It is the fact that I don't know that I am Brahman. I think I am this body. And so I think I have these problems and I have this karma and I think I am acquiring these things and losing those things. All this problem is there. Why? Because I think I am this body and this limited entity. So the problem is of ignorance. The problem is never of karma. So if ignorance is the problem, only knowledge can be the solution, right? You can't dance ignorance away. You can't do rituals and make ignorance go away. You can't do pranayama and think ignorance will go. No. The only thing that will remove ignorance is knowledge. And that is why jnanam is the only remedy for karma. To get out of this cycle of samsara, only one thing, that is jnanam. So this jnanam is so powerful, it will destroy even the sanchita, which means what? No more rebirth. No more punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jadare shayanam. Okay, no more of all that. Yeah, where is that from, incidentally? Let me ask you. Vajagovindam. Okay, good.
Mataji, on this Sanchit karma, I just not clear that how it gets destroyed because it's already there, and Prarabdha, I understand that it gets destroyed, but Sanchita, it's already there in the current shape.
It will be there, but there will be no more association with that particular jiva. That is the point. Sanchita needs, or you can say there has to be an individual with which this has to be associated, right? And once that individuality is itself not there, all these things also will not be there.
Got it. So our association with the jiva is actually the process.
Yes, the association, the identification that I am jiva is the root cause of all this.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Okay, next, agami karma api.
Agami karma api.
Karma api.
Jnanena nashyati.
Jnanena nashyati.
Kincha agami karmanam.
Kincha agami karmanam.
Nalini dalagata jalavat.
Nalini dalagata jalagata.
Jnaninam sambandho nasti.
Jnaninam sambandho nasti.
So the author says even agami karma is destroyed by this jnanam. So we discussed this briefly before, that agami karma is not there for a jnani. What do you need for agami karma? You need deha abhimana. You need identification with this body. You need ahankara, the notion that I am doing, the kartrutvam. So that is needed for agami karma to be generated. Jnani does not have this. But it may appear that Jnani's body is doing all this action, but really speaking, there is no connection at all. So the example given is Nalini Dalagata Jalavata, just like a lotus, like a bead of water on a lotus leaf. Okay, so the bead of water on lotus. Have you seen very carefully the lotus leaf? And have you seen the drop of water? If you just tilt the leaf, the water rolls off and the leaf is not even wet. Have you seen this? It has that sort of a repellent layer on it, and the water never makes the leaf wet. So it appears that the water is sitting on the leaf, but the leaf has actually no connection with the water, and it never gets wet. In the same way, the jnani may appear to be doing certain things, certain actions, but the jnani will never accrue karma phalam. The jnani never gets the papa punyam of that action. There is no connection between karma phalam and jnani. Okay? So in this way, even agami karma is destroyed. Now let's see this. Kincha, one second. Kincha ye jnaninam stunvanti bhajanti.
Kincha ye jnaninam stuvanti bhajanti.
Bhajanti.
Archayanti tan prati.
Archayanti tan prati.
Jnani kritam agami punyam gacchati.
Jnani kritam agami punyam gacchati.
Ye jnaninam nindanti dushanti.
Ye jnaninam nindanti
Shanti.
Dukkha pradhan kurvanti.
dukkha pradhan kurvanti.
Tan prati jnani kritam.
Tan prati jnani kritam.
Sarvagami kriyamanam.
Sarvagami kriyamanam.
Yadvachyam karma papatmakam tad gacchati.
Yadvachyam karma papatmakam tadgati.
Suhridav punyakrityam. Durhridyav papakrityam.
Papakrityam.
Grinhanti. Okay. So this is a part of the text that is actually a warning for all the people. Because the jnani, whether you praise him or whether you insult him, it will not matter. You can praise him and flatter him in any way, but the jnani will not react to that. And whether you insult him and criticize him and scold him, for that also the jnani will not react. So there is a chance that, some people might take advantage, might try to hurt the jnani, might abuse the jnani, because he will not react, right? So this is a warning kind of thing, that don't abuse the jnani. So what do they say? Kincha ye jnaninam. It says, Kincha ye jnaninam stuvanti bhajanti archayanti. Stuvanti is to praise the jnani. Bhajanti is to sing his praises, is to glorify the jnani. And archayanti is to do puja or worship the jnani. The person who does all this, praising, worshipping, revering the jnani, tan prati, to that person, jnani kritam agami punyam gacchati. All the jnani's punya karma will go to that person. So the person who praises the jnani's punyam will go to that person. Now we should not take this literally. It is not like a literal transfer happens. Why? Because karta eva bhokta, whatever you have done, you alone will experience. So the karma is not transferable like that. And also the jnani has no agami karma, right? We just discussed for jnani, agami karma does not even arise. So where is the question of it arising and then being transferred? So it is not there at all. So what we have to understand is that what happens is that if you praise the Jnani, you get punyam. It is not, don't take it literally, Jnani's punyam comes to me. It is just the very act of worshipping the Jnani, that act generates punyam for me. And then what is the opposite? Ye Jnani nam, to that Jnani, nindanti. If I criticize, dvishanti. Dvishanti is to hate the Jnani or to ill think about the Jnani. Dukkha pradan kurvanti. If I do anything that will somehow harm the Jnani, damage the Jnani, or give him some suffering, then what happens? All of the Jnani's papa karma will come to me. Again, not to be taken literally, because now the question comes, if Jnani is also getting papa karma, what am I doing in life? Right? If Jnani also is generating papam, what is the point of all this Shastra and becoming Jnani and moksha and all that, right? So not to be taken literally, Jnani does not generate papam because he does not generate agami itself. So what it means, if I do something to Jnani, to hurt the Jnani, I will suffer the consequences by my own action. I will get papa karma for that. So basically what they're saying, that don't hurt the Jnani, just praise the Jnani, glorify the Jnani, worship the Jnani, because the Jnani at this point is as good as Ishvara. So if you insult the Jnani, it is like insulting Ishvara. Okay. So Suhradav Punya Krityam. So Suhradav is a well-wisher, person who looks after, treats the Jnani well. That person gets Punyam, and Durfrudav means Durfrudaha is the person who ill-treats the Jnani, who hates the Jnani. Such a person gets Papam. Grananti means accrues or accumulates. So the well-wisher gets Punyam and the hater gets Papam. So this is this verse. Okay, now let us see, we are at the almost last two lines of the text. Tatha cha atmavit samsaram tirtva.
Tatha
samsaram tirtva
Brahmanandamihaiva prapnoti.
Brahmanandameva prapnoti
Tarati shokamatmavit iti shrutehe.
Tarati shokmatmavit iti shrutehe.
Okay. So it is saying that in this way, tatha cha, in this way, atmavit is one who has atmagnanam. That means jnani. So jnani samsaram tirtva. He crosses over samsaram. He crosses over samsaram. And what happens when you cross over samsaram? Brahma anandam iha eva prapnoti. He enjoys the anandam of being Brahman here and now. Okay, so it has to be understood that this moksha is not something that is far away. Either by distance it is not far, or by time it is not far. It is here and now. It is very much attainable or possible right here, right now. This clarification is given because there are other philosophies that say you do this thing and after you die you will go to heaven. What is the problem with going to heaven? First you have to die. Right? So this is not like that. This here and now, while still living in this very life itself, in fact this very moment itself, it is possible to enjoy Brahma Anandam. So what is the benefit of Brahma Anandam? Samsaram tirtva. You cross over samsaram. What is samsaram? All the problems that we face. All the different emotions, right? This raga, krodha, dvesha, moha, lobha, mada, matsarya, all these things that we face. And also those who have done second chapter of Gita, you remember? Raga, shoka, moha. This is the three capsule of samsara. right? If you have to just define samsara very quickly, you say raga, shoka, moha. Raga is what? Attachment. Attachment leads to what? Sorrow, shoka. And in this sorrowful emotional state, what happens? Moha, delusion. Okay, so it causes further confusion, conflict, bad decisions. Bad decisions lead to even worse situations in life. And then there is more problem, all these things. So all of this whole package, the package deal is called as samsara. And this jnani has crossed over. So it is from one of the Upanishads, the statement has been taken, Tarati shokam atmavit. Shokam is sorrow, tarati is to cross over atmavit. So the jnani has crossed over sorrow. The jnani has no more grief. He always is enjoying Brahma Anandam. And this is what we want, right, in life. All the time when we do different things, what we are seeking is just happiness. We do different things thinking that this will give me happiness, that will give me happiness. So we are seeking happiness. And now here Shastra is telling, Brahma Ananda Prapnoti. You will get happiness. What kind of happiness? Brahma Anandam, the ultimate happiness. And along with that, it will not go. It is permanent. It is sorrow-free happiness. It will not be interrupted anymore by any more sorrows. So this is the benefit of the teaching. And this is the very last verse of Tattva Bodha. And if you notice, this is in Anushtup Chandaha. And the very first verse of Tattva Bodha, which was Vasudevendra Yogendram, that one, that is also Anushtup Chandaha. What is Anushtup Chandaha? It is a meter form where in every quarter line, there will be 8 syllables. That means totally there will be 32 syllables in this. So you can kind of sing it. It goes in a flow. Okay. So let us read this, the last verse of Tattva Bodha. Tanum tyajatu va kashyam.
Tanu
Swapachasya grihe thava.
Apachasya grahe
Jnana samprapti samaye.
Jnana samprapte
Mukto sauvigatashayah.
Mukto vigatashayah
Iti smritesha.
Iti samratesha.
Okay. Okay, so tanum tyajatu. Tanum tyajatu means to give up the body, dropping the body. In other words, death of the physical body. So they're talking about jnani now. And so when the jnani gives up the body, we call it videha mukti, right? We call it mahasamadhi. All these words refer to the death of the physical body of the jnani. So what happens? Tanum tyajatu, giving up the body. Where? Kashyam, in Kashi. Where is Kashi? Or what is so special about Kashi?
It's a holy place.
Holy place, okay.
If a person dies there, he will get moksha.
Yeah, so the saying is that if the person dies in Kashi, they get moksha. Okay, so this jnani, whether he leaves the body in Kashi or whether Shwapachasya grihe. Shwapachasya grihe means in the house of a dog eater, a person who eats dog. So according to Shastra, it is considered a great sin to eat dog. Okay, not just meat, but dog. So such a person is considered to be very uncultured, very unsophisticated, and in fact is considered to be a papi, a sinner. So whether this jnani dies in Kashi, which is the most holy place, or whether in the house of this dog eater, which is the most unholy place, it does not matter. Why? Because once Jnanam has come, all these external things don't matter. So two extreme examples have been given to show that this Jnanam is not disturbed or affected by anything. This Jnanam having come, it doesn't matter what other situations may happen in life, but this Jnanam has done what it is supposed to do. This person is now a Jivan Mukta. And once he is Jivan Mukta, obviously Videha Mukti is guaranteed, right? The body has to drop and he is still free. He is a liberated one. So two extreme examples, Kashi and the dog eater's house are given. And they say that whether it is Kashi, whether it is this dog eater's house, Jnana Samprapti Samaye, Jnana Samprapti means acquiring Jnanam or getting Jnanam, Samaye, at the time. So at the time or having gotten this Jnanam, Mukta Asau Vigatashayah. This person is Muktaha. Muktaha means free, liberated. Moksha Purusha, Siddha Purusha. Vigata Ashayaha. Vigata means free from, Ashayaha means karma. So Vigata Ashaya, free from karma. So this person, when he has got this Jnana, he is free from karma. And from this point on, whether he will drop the body at Kashi or at the dog eater's house, doesn't matter. He is already Mukta Purushaha. And this has been is borrowed from Smriti. So the author of Tattva Bodha is borrowing both from Shruti and Smriti to tell us that everything I have spoken has come from Shastra, to show that they are the witness to everything I have said. This is not my independent teaching. This is not something I have created. All of this has come from Shruti itself or from scripture, Shastra itself. And with this, Iti Tattva Bodha Prakaranam Samaptam. This is the end of Tattva Bodha Prakarana Grantham. Okay. So, thank you all for being such dedicated
Thank you
students.
very much.
Thank you, Medhaji.
Thanks
you.
a lot.
Thank you, Medhaji. Thank you.
Much thank you, Medhaji.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much for
Medhaji.
this knowledge,
Thank
Mehtaji.
you,
Thank you.
Medhaji.
Thank you, Medhaji.
I will keep
Okay.
listening to the
you so much.
sessions again and again.
There
Thank
are
you,
a couple of
Mehtaji.
announcements, before you go. So thank you all, first of all, for being such dedicated students over the past few months. Do continue attending the various classes that are there. And as you proceed, the knowledge will clarify more and more, and you will be able to assimilate better. And you will yourself experience the benefits in your life. Maybe some of you are already seeing some how you handle life much better. So this will continue. And I think Tanmay ji has started one more Tattva Bodha class. I think it has started today itself. So you can, but I think registrations are closed for that now. So some of you may have already registered. So those who feel you need to repeat Tattva Bodha one more time, you can check with her and join that if there is space. Or in June, I think one more batch is starting. Maybe Nandgopal ji might be starting. I'm not sure, but he might announce soon. So you can just stay on in the group. And as for me, I will be taking Bhagavad Gita, probably starting from June. And you're all welcome to join for that. The announcements will come in the WhatsApp group. So I request you to stay in the group. Don't leave the group for some time because we'll be putting the announcements there. Okay.
Thank you, Mehtaji.
Thank you
So
so
it
much.
seems Tanmay ji's class is being streamed probably on Facebook. Yeah, Tanmay ji's class is being streamed, I think, on Facebook, so that because the Zoom meeting got full. So I think you can just check with her, and you can even follow it on Facebook or YouTube, wherever she is uploading it. Okay, so thank you. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you, Mehtaji.
Much,
All the best.
Medhaji.
Thank you, Medhaji. Very
Thank you very
grateful.
much.
Thank you.
Medhaji.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Chitalla.
The prayer. We'll just quickly do the prayer. Om
Yes.
Purnamada
Purnamada Purnamidam
Purnasya
Purnamudachyate
Purnamadaya
Purnasya
Purnamevavasyate
Purnamada
Om Shanti Shanti
Pratishyate
Shanti Harihi
Shanti.
Om Shri Gurubhyo
Hari
Namaha
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.
Om Tat Sat. Thank you.
Tat Sat. Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Yes,